Hello, Supercars in seconds here. Today we're going to do something I've been asked a lot about, is when you drive the 720S and then get into the Corvette C8, what are the big differences? What do you see from car to car? We're going to drive them at 50 miles an hour cruising. We're going to launch them. We're going to have a bit of fun and really explore the two cars. And I'll give you my honest opinion of what I think of each vehicle. Transmission, very impressive. Man, it's intense. Gosh. Shit. So when looking at the 8th generation Corvette, beautiful design, of course. They've taken the engine finally back behind the seats, where the real supercars give a nicer balance, I think. They'll want to push a little bit more and be safer to drive generally than maybe a rear engine or a heavy end front car where the back end will want to move around too much. It's really given the car a nice balance. The 720S, of course, one of the more crazy sports cars of the last decade, and really of all time. It is a nutty machine. So we're going to explore the two cars. Now, here we have a carbon fiber chassis underneath, so considerably lighter than the Corvette. I'll flash up the two weights here just for you to show you. But that's not that evident really when you're just driving along at 50 miles an hour. Where I think we'll see the difference is when we're pushing the cars very hard. So let's get started. So what I wanted this video to demonstrate, the McLaren car obviously this is around a $90,000 car. The McLaren we're going to drive is a $367,000 car. What are the big differences? Why is that car so much more money? And which is a better value? Even though that car is $360,000, it's widely recognized as an amazing value at the price point. So it's a bit like lovely homes. There's a lovely condo on the beach, then there's a 6-acre 4-story mansion. They're both very cool, but in different ways. Okay, so let's close the door and wake this beautiful Corvette up. I'm not going to cover too much of the technical side of the car, as I've done that long review, which I will put a link into down below. And at the end of this video, I'll also have an easy link that you can just touch to connect into that video. So as far as a driver's eye view, a nice place to be. I like all these air conditioning controls right down this panel. It's super cool. And again, as I talked in my review, isolates the driver into a very driver-centric environment. Down here's the mode. It says mode here. This has a metal dial. It's in the sunshine, but it's actually metal. I'm going to turn it this way, and in the bottom of the display down here, you'll see it change to the track. Picture the track mode there, which is rather nice, giving us a nice look, and we're ready to go. So we're going to head down towards Batman Corners. I'm not going to launch. I'm just going to boot the car as hard as I can and see how she does. Transmission, very impressive. Turn in, very nice. Again, a little bit of roll, but nice grip off those Michelin tires. Let's hit it. Good balance. Very light steering, but nice feel through the wheel. Let's try these big brakes again. Oh, good grip on the pedal, and nice. And the harder I push it, the more it stops the car. So on the 8th generation Corvette, we do get this a nice looking wheel. They've done the different staggered sizes, as I mentioned before. This is a 19-inch wheel here with a 20-inch wheel at the rear. But again, just under 15 inches on the steel rotor here. Not slotted. It is ventilated on top, but not slotted. But a good feel on the pedal. More a conventional feel that you'd be used to if you hadn't driven a very fast car before. You'd get used to the brakes very quickly. Braking would be the biggest difference, I think, from car to car. And I'm sure as the different models of the Corvette do arrive, the Z06, ZR1, etc., they will go to the ceramic solution here. But a 15.5-inch front rotor on a very light car just makes these cars incredibly responsive under braking. So now driver's eye view in the McLaren, so the screens are lower down. The whole scuttle, the whole front of the dash here is lower in the car. It definitely feels like you're sort of like a terrier up on his back legs, ready to pounce, is how the car feels just sitting still here. So I'm going to go down to the mode, same thing. I'm going to push active, that switches, you hear the exhaust. I push these two little dials, I turn them both across to track. That will fold our little folding display away. So you can see now when you're driving on track, you've just got minimal information, just your gear selection, your revs, and your speed. I actually like pushing this right-hand button over here, which makes it stand back up. When you're in track mode, it just looks super cool. A bit reflective today, but we've got revs across the top. Once we get moving, it'll show tire pressures and tire temperatures on each corner. I'm gonna push it down over here, the bottom one, the powertrain one, to push the manual. So now it'll say neutral manual. I'll pull the paddle here and click her into gear. So taking off here from a standstill, we'll put her into track. We'll push the manual mode, and I'm just gonna boot it. Man, yeah, the intensity is so much stronger. Got the balance through Batman's corner here. I can literally drive it with one hand at pretty high speed. Transmission is ridiculous. Also the turbocharging at lower revs, you're not going to get so much response. But of course, again, driving it hard like this, those turbos are always spinning. Oh. Man, it's intense. Gosh. Shit. It's not the same. It's not close. It's craziness. So I'm going to take it out of the track mode. I got sport. I've got touring. So in the touring mode now, I think the biggest compliment, I guess this is a good and bad. The biggest compliment is it drives like a normal car. I guess the bad thing about that is it's not such a sense of occasion that you have in the other car. Now, whether that's worth another 300,000, I'm not sure. But as far as the daily drivability, this is definitely a daily driving car. The nice thing about it is very low and very glamorous looking, and really a nice job. A big sort of change from the previous Corvettes. There were obviously a Corvette coming towards you. This, you're not sure what it is because of these very high fenders and very sculpted body. It is a special car, and I think that makes the price point even more of a great value. So let's shut everything off now, go back to the comfort mode, put it back to automatic. There we go. Everything changes right away. Handling mode changing. It needs to be going straight to adjust the handling mode. Now it's closing down. What a nice place to be. A little firmer than the Corvette, generally. But you can certainly drive this every day also. It's very interesting that both cars are so capable on the racetrack, but so comfortable on the road. I think that's engineering, modern engineering. You know, years ago we had a Lamborghini Diablo at the store today, 1991, a beautiful car, but that had one purpose. It was sort of bolted to the floor and bouncing down the road. This car, and very much the Corvette, very adjustable in their personalities. But in this car right now, actually a little bit louder than the Corvette in this cruising mode, but generally a nice place to be. The view out of the window is so easy to look at. In the comfort mode, the steering is light. It is a speed-sensitive rack in this car. It's not changing like it is in the other car. Irrelevant of mode, this steering is always a separate system, and it's just a great weight. It is hydraulic as opposed to electric, so you do feel a bit more. But again, that's as you'd expect in a supercar. So again, back here we've got our 6.2 8-cylinder naturally aspirated engine pushing the rear wheels through an 8-speed dual clutch transmission. All sounds very, very exotic, doesn't it? Very, very impressive. In the McLaren back here, we have a 4-litre 8-cylinder twin turbo. However, the turbochargers are both twin scroll with electrically powered wastegates. The 7-speed transmission, again from Graziano, also dual clutch like the Corvette. Down to our hard right-hander, got in third gear. Just going to turn the car in. Oh, great turning on the car. You can really feel the outside edge of the tire. Very nice feel. Good power. It's a strong delivery. You're missing that surge of the turbochargers from the other car, but a nice strong feel, a very solid feel in the car. I'm very fortunate, it's my job to spend a lot of time in 720S, but even though I do that, you just forget. You really can't describe to somebody what this feels like. It lifts you right out of the seat into this right-hander. Yeah, it's another level in every respect. It's wild how it'll push you in the seat and lift off and touch the brake, and it picks you up out of the chair. So that's the big difference, I think, is going from a mega sports car into a true supercar like this, is the difference in the feel. There's no movement in the body at all when you're in track mode. It's really good power, nice smooth delivery of acceleration into our nice right-hander again one more time. And yeah, it feels good. It's a nice car. That V8 is a great sound and it's very responsive too. Being naturally aspirated, you do get a very quick response from the motor, and it's really definitely worth a look. At this price point, I don't think anything is even close. So from a standing start there, we're in track. It's almost elastic in its feel. What I mean by that is, as soon as I touch the gas more than 30%, the nose will lift slightly and push you incredibly hard into the seat. However, a lot of cars will do that up to sort of 40, 50, 60 miles an hour. That's when this thing gets going. It is a completely unique experience. Here's second gear. It's again, that roller coaster with a license plate sort of analogy that I often use is hard to get across. When you ride those launch coasters, there's a lot in Orlando near where we live here, and they shove you. That's the feeling this car has. It really is that intense on your body. Looking at the two cars here together, of course the power here is intoxicating. It's just ridiculous how this car will beat you up. This one is amazingly very responsive, great feel through the car, very good steering, very good brake feel. They've really done an incredible job with the car. What I enjoy about it most, I think, is how usable it is. Then gives you that very exotic and glamorous look without breaking the bank. This car breaks the bank. However, it is value for money beyond belief when you consider what the car is capable of. Bearing in mind, we're at just about 5 seconds to 100 miles an hour. That's so hard to get across to you what that feels like. Very much a catapult type feeling of acceleration, but then it's refined. The suspension travel is so controlled. You're waiting for the body to lean and it just never does. I've driven the car very hard on track and it just never gets to that feeling of, oh, hang on, I'm getting close to the limit. I'm afraid I am the limit, not the car. So, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. It's interesting to try a great sports car next to a mega supercar. It is different, but both very enjoyable in different ways. I appreciate you subscribing to the channel. If you don't mind, share this video around. I'm going to point down now. I'm going to have the Corvette video right here for you to see the in-depth review of that. And over here, I'll put the 720S we just drove, showing the active aerodynamics. I'll see you again soon. Thanks very much.